Hey guys, so obviously not at school right now. Just taking a day to kind of, since I'm doing grad school and baseball, and obviously I've fallen a little behind on grading, taking a day to kind of get myself right. Um, so hopefully I got a handful of Behold essays; those will be done, um, and then I'm writing my own essay and doing all that shenanigans. So kind of needed a day because I was drowning a little bit. So anyway, what I want you guys to do today is we're just going to spend a little bit of time working on your essay prompt so that come Monday and Tuesday of next week, we should be in a decent place where we can blow through it in 1 week, right? So just know that what we'll have next week is we'll have Monday. And I want to spend about 15, 20 minutes on Monday looking at that speech where he says tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. But then we use the rest of the class for writing. That'll be true Monday and Tuesday. Then we'll do a full writing day Wednesday and Thursday. We'll do a full writing day Friday. Do Monday and Tuesday of the next week. All right. So just so you kind of know what the week will look like. So what I want us to do today is just a reminder of the prompt, and then you guys are going to spend most of your time drafting a thesis statement, collecting evidence. So the prompt: Macbeth is a complicated character who illustrates how quickly man can be led away from the good path. There are multiple factors that ultimately lead Macbeth to his destruction, and for this essay, you will pick one of these factors and trace the way it influences Macbeth throughout the story, leading to his destruction at the end of the play. All right, so it's just key to know that like Macbeth did not start out evil, right? I mean, remember at the very beginning, he was a good dude, right? He was fighting for his king, fighting for his country, doing everything you'd expect a warrior to do. And then slowly, right, we got this downslide. One action led to another action, led to another action, etc. And what I want you guys to do is you're going to just pick one factor, right? One thing that led him to his ultimate demise. And what you'll do today is either not virtually, digitally, or if you have that piece of paper, you can use that as well. I want you guys to start just by brainstorming topics, right? Work with somebody else, work in a group, brainstorm topics the play addresses. These are just like single word things. These are not theme statements, not claims. So a topic that Macbeth addresses: power. A topic Macbeth addresses: greed. It addresses the supernatural. We see that with spirits. It addresses murder all over the place. It addresses family, right? There's all kinds of stuff with families in there. It addresses backstabbing, right? And you can just go from there. It can be as specific as possible, or as little as possible. Lying, there's a lot of lying in there. Truth telling, a little bit of that, right? Or twisted truth telling. It's all in there, right? So see if you can get 10 or 15, right? It's just going to help you kind of get your mind right about what the play even talks about. Once you've done that, I would say 5 minutes, right? It shouldn't take too long. I want you guys to draft a thesis statement. Use your discussion questions that you filled out for today kind of to generate some thought, right? What are the things that we see in Macbeth that destroyed him, right? The things we need to be aware of, but how did they destroy Macbeth, right? So those should give you a lot of thoughts on what you might write about. And use these prompts if you will, right? You don't have to. I'd actually love if you branch them out, right, and kind of do it on your own. At this point in the year, as a sophomore, you should be able to come up with a good thesis statement about a book. But I always provide these just because it's good to see models. So, while initially a good man, Macbeth's demise is encouraged by blank, ultimately leading to his destruction. And here's a last word. I want you guys to get specific. I was a little disappointed with the discussion questions just because some of them were so, I could tell it took 15 seconds to do, right? And the goal wasn't that it takes 20 minutes, but there wasn't a whole lot of genuine thought for some of y'all. It'd be like greed, power, whatnot. And so I want to see if you can put that in there, but then see if you can get behind it a little bit. So let's say you were going to write about his desire for power and how that led to his destruction, right? That's the one factor that influenced him throughout the play that led to his destruction. Answers the prompt. While initially a good man, Macbeth's demise is encouraged by his thirst for power. Let's say that's what you were saying. That's okay. It's not great. You can definitely get behind that a little bit, right? And here's what that might look like. All right, so here's what you had, thirst for power. Can we break that down a little bit and get more specific, right? Um, so let's say his desire for power is just another way of saying the same thing. Then we could maybe add despite um, all warning signs. That is so much better than just the thirst for power, right? That's thirst for power is just too easy, and there's nothing really there. That's not even a claim, really, right? But when you take thirst for power and you say his thirst for power, despite all warning signs, that gives you so much more you can write about. Right now, you can talk about the warning signs. You can talk about all those things. But let's say you're doing the same thing with greed, right? So you say, well, initially, a good man, Macbeth's demise is encouraged by his greed. Let's use the other one so we can show you how to use both. Macbeth meets his death not only because of his stupid decisions. I mean, this is not a good thesis, but also because of his greed. All right, let's see if we can get behind greed a little bit. His inability to be content with anything but the best. That's so much better. Right? You're talking about the same thing, but you're specific and you're nailing it down. That actually leads you to more evidence. It leads you to a clear, concise claim. Right? His inability to be content with anything but the best. You think, oh, he had Thane of Cawdor, he had Thane of Glamis, and he couldn't be content. He had this, he couldn't be content. He had this. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. And that's just infinitely better than saying greed. So, what y'all should be doing today, as soon as this video ends, break up into groups, 2 or 3 people a group, brainstorm about 15 topics, right? Just rattle them off. That should be easy. Then working on your own, right, for about 10 minutes. Draft some thesis statements, right? Try some different things, switch up the wording, see if you can get more specific than just, taking one of these topics and adding them in. See if you can actually get behind it and make a clear, concise claim. And then what you're going to spend the rest of class doing is start collecting evidence, right? This is where you should spend the majority of your time. Even if your thesis isn't worded perfectly, we can work on that Monday and Tuesday. But if you have 4 to 6 quotes of evidence, which is going to be tough to find from Macbeth, right? Because some of y'all really struggle with this book. Actually, I take that back. It shouldn't be tough because you can just go and look at the summaries. It'll tell you where to look, and you can find a quote. I would spend the majority of your time today collecting evidence, just writing it down so that come Monday and Tuesday, we have all these quotes lined up, ready to start plugging in as you work. All right, so Godspeed, work hard. I promise you this will be worth it if you put your mind to it. So much love for all of you, and I'll see y'all Monday and Tuesday.